The real reason Jeff Bezos is avoiding Lauren Sanchez, and McKenzie Scott knew he would. There is a video from the Vanity Fair Oscars party in March 2026 that tells you everything about what is happening inside Jeff Bezos' marriage. Lauren Sanchez is standing on the red carpet, posing for photographers. Jeff walks up beside her, and Lauren turns to him with an icy look on her face and gestures for him to move. She shoos him away, like he is in her shot, like he is in her way. The richest man in the world, dismissed by his own wife on camera. Now compare that to what McKenzie Scott did in that same week. No red carpet, no photographers, no designer gown. She quietly donated another $700 million to organizations that help people nobody else is watching. She did not post about it. She did not announce it. Someone else found out and reported it. One woman needed the cameras. The other one never wanted them. And what is happening to Jeff Bezos right now is exactly what McKenzie Scott always knew would happen. She knew it before the affair became public. She knew it before the National Enquirer exposed those text messages. She probably knew it before Jeff admitted it to himself. This is not a story about two women competing for the same man. This is a story about one man who made a choice, and what that choice is finally costing him. To understand why McKenzie always knew this would happen, you have to go back to where it started. Because their love story was real, and that is what makes everything that came after so devastating. In 1992, Mackenzie Tuttle was a brilliant Princeton graduate who had studied creative writing under the legendary Toni Morrison. She took a job at the hedge fund D.E. Shaw in New York City, and the first thing she noticed about Jeff Bezos was his laugh. She could hear it through the office walls. This strange, honking laugh that made her curious about the man she had not even met yet. When it came time for her interview, Mackenzie specifically requested Jeff as her interviewer. She got the job, and soon they were working in neighboring offices. Here is what makes their story so painful to look back on. Mackenzie made the first move. She asked Jeff out to lunch. Within 3 months, they were engaged. 6 months later, they were married in a simple ceremony that cost almost nothing. This was not a calculated relationship. Jeff Bezos was not wealthy yet. Amazon did not exist. This was two brilliant minds falling genuinely in love, and Mackenzie believed in him completely. In 1994, when Jeff came to her with his crazy idea for an online bookstore, Mackenzie did not just support the dream. She made it possible. Picture this: Mackenzie driving their beat-up car cross-country from New York to Seattle, while Jeff sat in the passenger seat typing the business plan for what would become Amazon. When they arrived, Mackenzie became Amazon employee number 1. She handled accounting. She negotiated contracts. She packed books in their garage when they could not afford to hire anyone else. They lived in a one-bedroom rental and drove a 1996 Honda Accord that they kept until 2013. During those early years, Jeff was still the man Mackenzie fell in love with. He never scheduled early morning meetings because he wanted to have breakfast with his family. He helped with dishes. He was Mackenzie's first reader for her novels, giving her feedback and encouragement. They were a true partnership, the kind that rarely exists outside of movies. For nearly 2 decades, Jeff and McKenzie built something extraordinary together. 4 children. A company that changed how the world shops, billions of dollars. And through all of it, Mackenzie stayed grounded. She did not care about the money. She cared about the work. She cared about their family. She cared about the man she had bet her entire life on. Friends close to the family say that Mackenzie was the one who kept Jeff human during those years. When the stress of running Amazon threatened to consume him, she was there. When the pressure of being a public figure started to change him, she was there. She was his anchor. The cruel irony is that Mackenzie helped build the very empire that would eventually consume their marriage. Somewhere in the late 2000s, something shifted. The late nights started first, then the weekend business trips, then the constant media attention. Jeff was becoming a celebrity, a visionary, a man obsessed with his legacy. In 2000, he launched Blue Origin, his space company. Suddenly, he was not just dominating commerce on Earth, he wanted to conquer space too. And Mackenzie began to disappear. She focused on raising their 4 children. She pursued her writing. She published novels that most people never heard about because her husband's shadow had become so enormous. The brilliant woman who made the first move was slowly becoming invisible in her own marriage. Friends noticed the change. Mackenzie grew quieter, more guarded. The warm energy that had once existed between her and Jeff began to fade. There were fewer shared smiles, fewer moments that felt genuinely connected. Jeff was now surrounded by executives and advisors and media attention. Mackenzie was left managing their household while her husband chased his vision of the future. She had become an accessory to his success rather than a partner in their shared life. And then came Lauren Sanchez, According to reports, Jeff's relationship with Lauren began sometime in 2018. Lauren was a former news anchor and helicopter pilot who was married to Hollywood agent Patrick Whitesell at the time. She and Jeff were both married when their relationship allegedly began. The National Enquirer had been tracking them for 4 months before publishing their expose. They had intimate text messages, they had private photos, they had everything. On January 9, 2019, Jeff and McKenzie announced their divorce. Exactly 24 hours later, the National Enquirer published their bombshell story. The timing was not a coincidence. McKenzie knew what was coming. She chose to get ahead of it with dignity. The source of those leaked messages was eventually traced to Lauren's own brother, Michael Sanchez, who reportedly sold them to the tabloid for $200,000. Think about that. Lauren allegedly shared those intimate messages with her brother. Her own family member betrayed her for money, and this is the woman Jeff chose over McKenzie. The divorce settlement was staggering. $38 billion in Amazon stock, the largest divorce settlement in human history. Jeff gave it up willingly. No bitter court battle, no fighting over assets. He believed he had found something more valuable. He believed he had found real love. Here is where the story gets psychologically fascinating. According to multiple reports, Lauren's behavior in the early days of their relationship seemed too good to be true. She refused expensive gifts. She insisted on splitting restaurant bills, even at high-end establishments. She presented herself as a successful, independent woman who wanted Jeff for who he was, not what he was worth. For someone who had spent decades surrounded by people wanting access to his wealth, this must have felt like a miracle. But then something changed. After Jeff's divorce was finalized and his $38 billion settlement was complete, Lauren's behavior began shifting. The woman who once refused gifts started accepting them. According to plastic surgery experts who have analyzed her appearance, she began undergoing extensive cosmetic procedures during this period. Estimates suggest the visible transformations would cost between $500,000 and $2 million. Jeff reportedly funded these procedures. He viewed it as Lauren finally becoming comfortable accepting his generosity. But psychologists recognize this pattern differently. It is called the boiling frog effect. Each request seems reasonable compared to what has already been accepted. The overall pattern of increasing demands becomes invisible until you are completely submerged. The wedding in Venice last June was the clearest example. According to sources close to Jeff, he initially wanted something private and intimate. Throughout his marriage to McKenzie, their social events had been small, focused gatherings. Jeff has always been protective of his privacy, but Lauren wanted a 3-day extravaganza, a global media event that would cement her transformation from local news anchor to billionaire's wife. When Jeff hesitated, Lauren reportedly became furious. She felt he was not taking her seriously. She felt he was not showing the world how much she meant to him. The Venice wedding eventually cost an estimated $76 million, according to Italian government officials. That is more than the GDP of some small countries, for 3 days. The guest list included 200 people. Leonardo DiCaprio, Kim Kardashian, Oprah Winfrey, Bill Gates. But according to sources, many of these attendees barely knew Jeff personally. They were Lauren's connections from her entertainment industry background, celebrities who added glamour and media value to the event. Lauren wore 27 different designer outfits during the celebration. Her main wedding dress cost an estimated $500,000. Her total wedding wardrobe exceeded $2 million. She hired professional social media managers to document and promote every moment. This was not a couple celebrating their love. This was a carefully orchestrated performance, and Jeff paid $76 million to fund it. The backlash was severe. Local Venetians protested the disruption to their city. Amazon employees complained on internal forums. This was happening while Amazon was conducting layoffs. Over 18,000 employees lost their jobs in 2022 and 2023. The contrast between firing workers and spending $76 million on a party created a public relations nightmare. Jeff was forced to make substantial charitable donations to Venetian cultural organizations just to manage the fallout. The man who built his reputation on frugality and long-term thinking was now doing damage control for a wedding that cost more than most companies spend in a decade. And now, less than a year later, friends close to the couple are giving this marriage a year, max. At the Vanity Fair Oscars party in March 2026, Lauren gave Jeff that icy look and gestured for him to move out of her shot. The moment was captured on video. The internet noticed. Body language experts analyzed his expression. The forced smile, the dead eyes, the posture of a man who is performing happiness. He does not actually feel. Sources who spoke to entertainment journalists say that everything changed the moment they got married. During their Christmas and New Year celebrations, Lauren's energy was nonstop. She was jumping, dancing, laughing, and Jeff was hanging on for dear life. One source described him as looking wiped. When they were spotted shopping together in Aspen, Lauren appeared upbeat and energetic, while Jeff maintained a calm and exhausted pace. One insider said he is happy, but he is clearly worn out trying to match her. The smile of freedom that Jeff displayed in early 2019, when he thought he had found authentic love, has become the face of compromise. He smiles now because cameras are present, not because happiness is genuine. And through all of this, McKenzie Scott has said nothing. She has not given interviews, she has not posted cryptic messages on social media, she has not written tell-all books or appeared on talk shows to discuss her ex-husband's choices. Instead, she has given away $26 billion. In 2025 alone, McKenzie donated $7.2 billion to nonprofit organizations. That is more than Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez have given to charity in their entire lives combined. McKenzie is now the third most generous philanthropist in the world. She has given away 46% of her net worth. Her donations focus on organizations supporting racial justice, education, food security, and women's shelters. She funds causes that help people who have been overlooked and marginalized. People who feel invisible, people who feel forgotten. Do you see what she is really saying? Through her giving, McKenzie is revealing that she understands what it feels like to be overlooked. Even as the wife of the world's richest man, she became invisible in her own life. And now she is using her resources to ensure that other people do not feel that same invisibility. McKenzie also changed her name, not back to her maiden name Tuttle. She chose McKenzie Scott. Using her middle name, she was creating a new identity separate from both her father's name and her ex-husband's name. She was finally becoming herself. The contrast between these two women could not be more stark. While Jeff spends $76 million on a wedding, McKenzie gives $7 billion to help others. While Lauren demands designer wardrobes and media coverage, McKenzie operates through a model called trust-based philanthropy. She gives money without strings attached, without demanding naming rights, without seeking recognition. One woman showed up after the money. The other one showed up before it existed. Jeff Bezos had a true partner, a brilliant woman who believed in him when he had nothing. She drove cross-country while he typed a business plan. She packed books in a garage. She raised his children. She kept him human. And he traded her for someone whose behavior suggests the money is exactly what matters. The man who built Amazon by understanding human behavior better than anyone fell for the oldest trick in the relationship playbook. The woman who once refused his gifts convinced him to spend more on their wedding than most countries spend in a year. McKenzie knew this would happen, not because she is bitter, and not because she wanted Jeff to fail. She knew because she understood something about him that he did not understand about himself. She knew that the man she fell in love with had disappeared long before Lauren Sanchez entered the picture. She knew that success had changed him in ways that made him vulnerable to exactly this kind of relationship. She knew that the Jeff who wanted breakfast with his family and helped with dishes was gone. The affair was not the cause of what happened. It was the confirmation of what had already happened. Jeff had slowly erased McKenzie from their partnership until she became invisible. And when she finally left, he replaced her with someone who would never challenge him the way she did. Today, McKenzie Scott is no longer known primarily as Jeff Bezos' ex-wife. She is recognized as one of the most influential philanthropists in the world, a woman who is using her resources to create lasting change in areas that matter most to her. While Jeff builds rockets to escape Earth, McKenzie is using her wealth to heal it. While Jeff chases his space legacy, McKenzie is building a legacy of compassion and justice that will impact generations. And while Jeff forces a smile on red carpets next to a woman who shoos him away on camera, McKenzie is quietly donating hundreds of millions of dollars without telling anyone. She did not have to say a word. His own choices are saying it for her. What do you think about the contrast between how Jeff's marriage to Lauren is going and the life McKenzie has built? Do you think McKenzie saw all of this coming from the very beginning? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we have another story coming about a woman who chose herself after decades of putting someone else first, and her decision changed everything.